of keeping the gap civil. We are so excited that you're here watching with us. We're kind of shocked. We don't know what your motives are for tuning into the second episode, but whatever they are, we're glad you're here with us. To my right is the original bona fide Johnson boy, Mr. Trish Johnson.
Woo, thanks, everybody. And to my left, Lucas Pasley, also known as Harold, also known as Never Gonna Catch a Red Fox Chaser.
All right. Think we better get started with some jokes this time around. I went first last time. Let's see what you got in store.
All right, it's a good one. You ready? What do you call dropping all the fiddles in the ocean?
Well, I mean, number one, I feel like this joke is going against me, so it's hard to answer, but I would call it a tragedy.
No, a start.
A start?
Yes.
Thunderation. All you banjo players would be what would you do?
Take over the show.
Take over the show.
People want to hear us anyways, not you.
That's why you wanted to start Sally in by yourself, wasn't it?
Of course. You're a fast learner.
I think next episode is going to be Game of Thrones. Gap Civil Game of Thrones.
What do you got?
All right, let's see. I've got a more serious joke about raising kids. Nothing to do with music at all. You know, I'm a proud father of 3, and I think a lot about kids, and sometimes, they ask some tough questions. So I heard about this dad. He had a son. Son went up to him and said, "Dad, where did all these people come from? How did it all start?" And the dad said, "Well, son," said, "first there was Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve had children. They got together with some other adults. They all had some more children. Everybody started having children, more and more children, and then we ended up in the world today."
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Well, the son felt like he better get a second opinion on this.
Okay.
So went over to his mom, and he said, "Mom, same question. Mom, where did all these people come from?" She said, "Well, son, I'm glad you asked me." She said, "Long millions of years ago, people were there weren't any people, there was just little organisms. And those organisms evolved into some real primitive little thing. And those primitive little things evolved into monkeys. And those monkeys evolved into people." And the son said, well, he went right back to his dad. He said, "Dad, you lied to me." He said, "I got a very different answer from Mom." And the dad said, "Well, son, your mama was talking about her side of the family."
That's pretty good.
All right. Let's see. What do we got going on here today? The Jubilee schedule. Man, it's another great month with the Jubilee. Chris, tell them what we got.
Well, of course, the first Saturday is going to be us. That will be February the 2nd. Or the first Saturday of every month.
February the 2nd.
Yep.
So that's quick, because when people are watching this, it's February the 1st.
Exactly.
So whatever you plan for tomorrow night, boom. Cross it out. You know where you're going to be.
Yep. The second Saturday in February will be Mountain Park, like they always play.
Mountain Park is always the second Saturday.
That's February the 9th.
February the 9th. All right. Great show, always.
Then our last 2 Saturdays in the month, we changed it up again.
All right. Who we got this month?
The third Saturday in February 16th, will be White Top Mountain Band.
White Top Mountain Band. Oh, man. I think it's a good moment to talk a little bit about last night. We're kind of making this video in the middle of the month. And last night we had the benefit for Linworth out at the Jubilee. White Top Mountain Band was the last band that played.
Yep.
They were great. We played some extra songs and brought everybody up on the stage at the end. It was just great. And what a great turnout it was for that event. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Most of you know our friend Linworth, great person, great musician. She's gotten sick. We had a fundraiser for her at the Jubilee. And it was just a great turnout. The whole place was packed. Music was great. And it just made me feel awfully good about the community that we live in, but also the music community.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody just turned out. And so anyway, that was White Top Mountain Band. They finished up that show, and they're playing on the 16th.
The 16th.
All right.
And then the last Saturday, February 23rd, will be Carly Kiefer and Smokey Holler.
Carly Kiefer and Smokey Holler. If you have not heard of this group, you need to get out here and hear them. They're all incredible musicians, but you are just going to be blown away by Carly Kiefer. Her voice, her musicianship, I mean, it is just amazing what this little girl can do. You just won't believe it. And everybody in the band is a great musician, and their repertoire is really unique. So you're going to hear some stuff that you just don't normally hear from other bands. So we highly recommend. Okay, Uncle Wade, honey, you're going to have to relax a little bit. Get on down. So Carly Kiefer, come on out. You are going to really enjoy that show if you haven't seen her yet. They put on a great show. So. All right, folks, time for the next portion of the show. Deadens,
but Goodens.
All right. Who are we going to be talking about today?
Snake Smith.
Snake Smith.
The one and only.
The one and only. And we lost Snake here pretty recently, back in December. And anybody that knew him was really sad. And I wish I had taken the time to get to know him a whole lot better than I did. I had one fantastic day with Snake. I'd seen him at a number of other occasions, but I had gotten it in my mind that I wanted to see where all the old fiddlers lived. Emmett Lundy, Charlie Higgins, John Rector, Luther Davis, and so I called up Snake, and he said, absolutely. He said, come on over, we'll ride around all day. So I just took a day, and Snake and I, we just rode around. He showed me all the old home places and where they were buried, and we just had a great day together, and I'll always remember that. So we lost Snake, and we've just been thinking a lot, not just about him, but we've been thinking a whole lot about Galax guitar players, or from the whole region, and just what an incredible art that was. And we don't know how you feel about it, but we feel real strongly that there's a whole lot more to old time guitar playing than just boom chuck, boom chuck, boom chuck all day. And these guitar players in our region were just incredible. The runs they were doing, some of the rhythmic stuff, I mean, it was just unbelievable what they were doing in terms of, it being complicated, and also just how they would drive the band. I mean, it was that guitar player pushing and pushing and pushing, and such an essential part of the music that we love. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But on this one, we're going to cut our own intro short because we were lucky enough to invite over some people that knew Snake really well, loved him, and we're going to introduce him. All right, folks, we couldn't think of a better way to talk about Snake Smith than to gather around some people that knew him well and loved him and knew his music well. And we're just going to go around, we're just going to talk a little bit about this incredible musician from our region. Here with us today, we've got Kyle Dean Smith, Kevin Fore, Trish Fore, and Mandy Johnson. And everybody in this room knew Kyle Dean, cared about him, appreciated his music. Kyle Dean, being his son, in your mind, what stands out to you the most about his musicianship when you think about his playing?
Well, he's just a real solid player, and he had such good timing. His timing was just spot on. And I remember when I first started learning how to play, my timing was a little here and there, Boy, he said, "Hey, you." He set me straight on that, He got that worked out and everything. And he always helped with, in other words, after I know that I could do pretty much anything I wanted to do if I could pull it off. You know what I'm saying? Like some kind of crazy lick or something. Cause he wouldn't ever lose it. He could keep me. Push me, He had that lick, especially with his guitar playing. And he's an awesome banjo player. He's a super good banjo player, And he had that gay-like sound, This was just a roll along with the fiddle, a real solid roll, nothing fancy. It really sounded good,
Yeah.
So yeah, he was. he was a good picker.
Kevin, what stands out to you about snakes playing?
I tell you, he was just a really dear friend. And one thing about Snake, if you knowed you was going to be around Snake, you knowed you was going to have a good time. I loved being around him. And the biggest thing that stood out with him was his runs that he put in on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody else today who could really run a guitar around here like he did. And he'd get into a run and he'd finish it up and he'd get to laughing and just shake his head. He couldn't believe he just did that.
He sure did. Well, Trish, what stands out to you about Snake? Who he was or his playing, either one?
Well, I tell you what, when I think about Snake, I'm like Kevin. When you knew you were going to be around Snake, you knew you were going to have a good time. And, I mean, I just really loved being around Snake, and I love Snake. And, you know, I had the privilege to play with him in a band a few years at Galax, and that was great fun. And, you know, I got to thinking about, when did I meet Snake? You know, I can't pinpoint exactly when I did meet Snake, but I felt like I knew him my whole life through. So I just really enjoyed being around you, Daddy.
Mandy, how old were you when you met Snake?
16.
16. Wow. So
Yeah.
you kind of grew up with him, really.
Yeah. Gosh, there was a lot of music played in that basement, and met a lot of people down there. And he was a good feller.
Yeah. What stands out to you about the Snake?
Well, he would always make up words to the songs. Always. Some kind of silly words. Always.
All right, folks. Well, that's enough talking about Snake. It's time for us to get down to some listening. And Snake played with some incredible people.
He did that.
He had a great band called the Delhart Playboys. I love that name. Played with Fred Cochran, Wilson Ramey. They'd ride around, play all kinds of places.
Yep.
Who else did he play with?
New River Bluegrass with Richard Nichols.
Oh, yeah, one of our local people, Richard Nichols, in there. And, yeah, there was that funny story that Colleen told about Snake, where he was in the army over in Germany.
Yeah, and he had his dad ship his banjo to
Shipped
him.
the whole banjo over there.
Yeah.
That's some devotion right there.
It is.
All
It's
right.
that.
Well, time for us to hear a little bit of Snake Smith. Listen to these runs.
And here we go. has a good one, Roy.
Woo! That is what I'm talking about with some guitar playing. Man, he sure had it.
And that brings us to our next section of the show, Alive
and Kicking. And we are real excited to focus in on one of my hero fiddlers, and that is Mr. Kirk Sutphin. If there's anybody alive today that's able to capture the sound and technique of the old timers on the fiddle, banjo, guitar, really any instrument, it is Kirk Sutphin. He is an amazing musician. And he's also a fantastic guy. And one time, one story I like to tell on Kirk is, one time, sit down there. One time, I was down there visiting with him. I was trying to pick up whatever I could from him. And so I was working on Sunny Home and Dixie. And Kirk plays just an incredible version of Sunny Home and Dixie. And so anyway, we played for a little while. I tried to get whatever I could. And he said, Lucas, he said, there's really no way to improve on the old timers. He said, they're as good as it gets. I thought about it. I said, you're right. I said, they're just as good as it gets. And I said, now where did you get that high part in Sunny Home and Dixie? Because there's this great little thing up there in the high part. And he looked at me and he said, oh yeah. So I just spiced it up a little bit. I love that, because that captures that perfect balance of, Kirk is able, the respect and honor that he gives to the old timers and the talent that he has to capture their sound is amazing. But you can always tell it's Kirk playing.
Oh yeah.
And I love that. All right, so we're going to hear a little bit of two incredible musicians. This is going to be Kirk playing with Kevin Fore. And if you can't hear Tommy Joe in this, it's time to get your ears checked. There you have it. Kirk Sutphin, Kevin Fore, two incredible musicians, and love hearing them capture that round peak sound. If anybody's got it down, it's those two guys.
They do.
All right. I think that's going to take us on to the last portion of our program. What do we got?
Something special.
Something special. We hope you're ready for it. While we had Kyle Dean over here talking about his dad, there's something special that Kyle Dean does.
Yep.
And we like to call it the Kyle Dean Rumble. All right, folks. We promised you we'd bring you something special. And tonight, we have sure got it. We're going to call this section of the program the Kyle Dean Rumble. And you are in for a treat. What you're about to hear is like nothing you've ever heard before. All right. Well, I'd say we hit a little bit of Sally Ann, but Kyle Dean, can we trouble you to announce the tune for us?
You have to announce it.
You mean?
Yeah.
The
announce.
Oh, my heavens, Lordy mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's first tune is being brought to you by Seasoned Filled Peas and Snaps, and provided to you by some of the greatest pickers in the world. And here we have Chris Johnson, Lucas Pasley, Trish Kilby, and yours truly on the big giant banjo playing a tune called Sally Ann.
Mandy, would you please show our advertised product?
Yeah. We gotta get our sponsors.
I'd like to know where. 'Cause I got a feeling that's different from anything you've heard since, or
We hope so, anyway.
It was definitely something special.
something special.
Something.
Thanks for tuning in.
Something
special.
Okay, folks, there you have it. That's everything we know to do. We've told jokes. We've told you the schedules of all kinds of music. We've done deadens but goodens, alive and kicking, and we gave you the Kyle Dean Rumble. We hope it's been good for you. All right. You ready to get out of here?
Let's get out of here.
All right. I'm done. Oh, the fiddle starts. Fiddle. Here we go. Okay, let's see. No, we gotta do the post.
Huh?
Yeah.
What do you need this time for the post?
No.
Well, I didn't think so.
Yeah, but you were going with your hands.
Yeah, like All right, action.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
You want to do it with your hands?
My alligator. Tearing up our decor here. Kind of fit. All right.
Episode 2.
Yeah, just leave it in there. We'll just leave it in there. Right.
Yeah, put some fire in it this time.
My hands are cold. You got it? Like 50 degrees.
I put that heater over there for you.
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
but it's still cold.
Okay, I guess that's all we got for February, huh?
That's it.
Not too much going on because one of us has plans for Valentine's Day and the other doesn't.
Seasoned filled peas and snacks.